Hey everybody, I have the opportunity to make a video and I've been wanting to make this particular video for a couple weeks now, and I'm just cruising on the highway right now for about an hour, so I don't have to make a lot of turns and stuff, so I can just sit here and talk to you guys and get this information out, because I think it's gonna help a lot of people, because I know a lot of twin flames watch my channel. It's gonna help a lot of twins understand their situation, and people just in conscious relationships in general understand kind of how the universe can put someone in your life to help you grow and help you learn how to unconditionally love. And you know, with a twin flame dynamic, because you have this undeniable connection, because your body is just flooded with this love and bliss, and it's just like, whoa, I've never felt anything like this before. It's very easy in that situation to learn unconditional love, because, for example, as the person in my dynamic who carries the divine masculine energy, I run. And so the reason I run is because I get triggered by something that he does or something that happens, and it triggers me. It triggers fears within me that are about me, that have nothing to do with him, but externally the ego wants to show you like, oh, it's their fault you're feeling this way, when really it's your fault. It's not really your fault, it's just a product of your circumstances. So you have these fears because you experienced something traumatic in your life. So whenever you get triggered by your twin, 9 times out of 10, it's like your ego blowing something out of proportion, regurgitating those fears that you've accrued kind of during your life and past lives. Because sometimes we have fears and energy blocks that stick with us from past lives too. So just a quick example, my twin came out of a 14-year karmic relationship. And so when you transition out of a relationship for 14 years and you have houses together and like all these financial ties, and then you split, and then, you know, child support and all this kind of stuff, he was going through like financial, you know, that transition. Like, it's a bumpy ride financially when you're going through that. So for me, you know, before I met him, I was like, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, and if I do have a man, like, he's gonna be financially stable, and he's gonna be all these things. So like, for me, in my mind, him going through that, whenever it would, like, I would get in a low space and I wasn't vibrationally aligned, I would use things like him going through this financial struggle, transitioning out of 14-year marriage, like, I would use that as an excuse to run, because of my fears of, and it had nothing to do with money. I mean, I do have fears around money because I grew up, I know what poverty felt like I know what lack feels like from my childhood, but it wasn't that. I mean, him not having money wasn't that. It was just something, I mean, the littlest thing can trigger you, right? Sometimes somebody can leave a light on and leave the house, and then you come back home and see they had left the light on all day, like, and you paying the bills and like all this kind of stuff, like little triggers. And it doesn't really have to do with money. It's just something to bring up an internal block or issue or fear with, or trauma or whatever inside of yourself. That trigger is, so the trigger usually has nothing to do with the source of the problem within you. And that's why it's so crucial to recognize these patterns when you get triggered and stuff, especially as a divine masculine, if we're going to talk twin flames. But in general, just in conscious relationships in general, notice what triggers you, and notice that the trigger itself usually isn't what the issue is. Usually it's an issue, so you have to kind of like pick at it, like try to figure out, okay, why am I feeling this way? We want to blame it on the other person, but it's really not the other person, it's you, you know? And this is assuming that you're in a relationship where somebody doesn't call you out your name or hit you, or, you know, those big things that are unacceptable. Those are always going to be unacceptable. You should, in my opinion, respect yourself enough to walk away in those situations. If you're in a toxic twin flame dynamic like that, it's not a twin flame. Like, I don't know. My twin has never called me out of my name. I've never called him out of his name, and there is nothing, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't know how you could love somebody that much and just be like, ugh. For me, I just run. Like, it's not like calling you out of your name. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I can't, blah, blah, blah. Like, I look for an excuse because of these fears within myself and these traumas within myself, and I run. But anyways, once you start to pick up on these patterns, okay, I'm getting triggered, what's this trigger mean? And you start learning about yourself. That's why the self-work is so crucial if you want to manifest union. Because if you can pick up on your patterns, you can pick up on these triggers and what they actually mean, then you're able to heal yourself, because you're able to choose a different perspective when that trigger comes up. You're able to like get triggered and be like, ooh, I'm not going to say nothing, I'm not going to run, I'm not going to act, I'm not going to do anything until I go center myself and get back in alignment and like really choose a perspective that serves my highest good. And when we're triggered, we're not prepared to react properly. We're not in alignment with source. We can't use our intuition properly. So we should just shut up and sit back and try to get in a good space before we do anything. And if you can do that when you get triggered, then you can really start to help yourself grow. Like, you will grow so much when you start picking up on the patterns, and then choosing a different perspective. If you don't choose the right perspective and you snap, that's okay. Don't be bad on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, because like the most important thing is loving yourself, and that's what unconditional love is about to begin with. Like, when you aren't, like, whenever you get triggered, like, that is conditional love. I want to leave you because of this. When at the core, like, it's all love. They're all like egotistical, superficial reasons to leave somebody, to run from somebody. Like, he can't help, he's going through a transition right now and having a financial issue, and I know deep down in my heart, like, we're insanely successful. Like, we manifest abundance like it's nothing, because it's all about your belief system. Like, what do you believe you can do, you know? And like, whenever I get out of alignment, I think very 3D, like trying to write everything down on paper, like, how is this gonna work, and blah blah blah. And like, at the end of the day, like, that's not flowing with the universe. That's not trusting the universe. That's not saying, like, I have so much faith that I know the next moment, whether it's a triggered moment or whether it's a moment of bliss or whether it's a little bit of contrast in my life, that it's for my highest good. It's for an opportunity to learn. It's throwing up another trigger so I can have an opportunity to choose a different perspective that serves my highest good and moves me in the moment, with momentum in the direction that I want to go, in a positive direction instead of a negative direction where I snap off, where I run. So it's about patterns. It's about noticing how you're acting, what you're saying, what you're thinking, how you're feeling on the inside in any given moment. And if you feel shitty on the inside, it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't think, oh my gosh, I just got triggered and I reacted and now my vibration's low and blah blah. And you hear how it's like going and going and going, momentum in the negative direction. And like, for me, it took me a while to not get down on myself. Like, I want to improve. I want this growth. So like, if I get triggered and I react, if I get triggered and I don't even have to react, I just feel these emotions like anger or whatever on the inside. Now I'm like, whoa, I'm feeling anger right now. Kelsey, you're feeling anger right now. What are you going to do about it? Accept it. It's okay that you feel angry. Like, you're human. We're supposed to feel angry. We're supposed to feel depressed. We're supposed to feel all these things sometimes, because that's what humans do. And if you didn't have that polarity, you wouldn't even like appreciate bliss the way that you do. It's just a part of being a human being. We still live in this 3D reality. We still encounter like imperfections in life. But it's when you can come across contrast and you can look at it in a positive way. You can perceive it in a way that, like, wow, like, yeah, like, I'm sitting in a ton of traffic right now, but I don't know what the universe holds for me next. I don't know what exit it wants me to go off next. I don't know, like, even what my plans are for tonight, but I'm excited for whatever it is. And like, I'm sitting here right now waiting, because maybe like the process is unfolding. Maybe so I can co-create with the universe, and it can lay out exactly what would serve my highest good this evening for me to do. Like, if you can just look at life in such a beautiful way and get out of victim mode, it will serve you so well. Your whole reality changes. It's like funny, because we live in this 3D world and we still can go to dinner with somebody, a group of friends, and every single person at that table can be living in a different reality. They can be on a different timeline. Like, wrap your head around it. Wrap your head around the fact that this time thing, it's linear. It's all linear. Everything is happening at the same time. And if we can get into this quantum way of thinking, it makes it like so much easier to flow with the universe. So the more you realize how you're acting and why you're acting that way, and that it's okay, and just be so easy on yourself and just love the shit out of yourself. Like, the more we can get in that space, the more life gets so, like, it's like you effortlessly manifest things. There's synchronicities everywhere, and every one of them, you just feel so freaking excited because you know that's the universe saying, yep, you're on the right path. Yep, you're on the right path. You know? Like, life in abundance, and abundance in everything, not just financially. Like, abundance in love, abundance in, like, family and soul family and friends and just experiences, you know, anything that you could ever imagine. Like, that's why, like, planning is so, it's good to plan, but it's about being malleable. So planning is great because then you can get an idea of, like, okay, this is like the skeleton of what my day can look like, right? And then you get to this destination that you had planned out, and you realize, oh my gosh, the place is closed. So you're malleable. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, this wasn't what I expected. I'm going to have an anxiety attack because something on my plan sheet didn't go according to how I wanted it to. And that's just an example of how, like, expectations can really hinder you. Like, they can really hold you back. Expectations of others, expectations of anything in life can hold you back because you don't allow the universe to use the infinite amount of possible, like, scenarios that could play out for you. Like, you cut yourself off from abundance and manifestations when you get too set on, like, I'm moving to this state because this is the state I always wanted to move to because I love to fish or I love to whatever. And it's just like, but you really might not know exactly who you really are to the extent that the universe does and source does yet. So if you just be open and have an open heart towards everything, you create this mass amount of possibility for yourself. So that's why just flowing and just like, that's what's happening right now. Cool, I love it. Look how beautiful this is. How can I perceive it in a beautiful way? No matter how much contrast you're going through, like, how can I twist this to work to my highest good and in my favor? And, like, sulking or playing a victim or this person didn't do this, so now I feel this way, like, that doesn't serve you at all. At all. And I know I'm going off on a tangent. This isn't really even what my video was about, but you know, sometimes source comes through with messages that people need to hear. I mean, if you're guided to my videos, there's a reason for it. So there might be information that resonates with you. If there ever isn't something that doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Like, there, you know how many people are on YouTube that probably share the same frequency, the same vibration as you, and you will resonate with so many. There's so many people out there. Your soul family's out there. And that's another thing. Like, if you're really on track, your soul family is going to start coming in, and you're not going to feel so alone in this journey anymore. You're not going to feel like, oh my gosh, nobody else in this freaking world knows anything about these things that I'm interested in, and why am I so drawn towards this? Like, it'll start to make more sense to you. It's not even a puzzle because there's nothing to figure out, but the phrase I was going to use is all the pieces of the puzzle are going to come together. But you see what I mean by that. Not that this experience is a puzzle, but it just flows together. Like, it just effortlessly comes together in this beautiful picture that you couldn't even have imagined. So when you're not tied to the expectations, like, the universe can open up so much for you. So just open your hearts. In this video I was going to make about unconditional love and how your twin teaches you to unconditionally love. And how they do that is just showing you that when you get in alignment, oh my gosh, it's impossible not to love that person. It's impossible not to just be like, explode, for love for that person. And whenever you get triggered, whenever you get, you know, in these spaces, just the most important thing is to love on yourself until you're back in alignment, so you can start thinking clearly. You can't really think clearly when you're not in alignment, and that's what I realized, and that's why I just don't act if I'm not. And my twin taught me so much what unconditional love is, because I would get triggered by things that don't matter, like leaving a freaking light on, or a situation that he can't control, and that was not enough reason for me to leave or freak out or, you know, be upset, you know, or blame him for how I feel, blame him for abandonment issues that I've had to go through in my life, blame him for these lack issues and belief programs that I've been trying to, these are like the last little things that I'm hanging on to. These are the last, like, these are the last things that I really need to focus on in terms of, you know, releasing things that don't serve me, these energy blocks. And he shows me those through the triggers. He shows me that, oh my gosh, I unconditionally love you, so like, these things don't matter. And the reason I'm thinking these things is because of me, and I just need to work on me. And so, like, if your twin is running from you, like, just know, like, it's just because they need to heal and they're hurting. And that's what it was for me. Like, it was like I get triggered and all my hurt would just bubble back up to the surface. And now I'm understanding how to choose different perspectives and how to let go of things and how to reach out and get an energy healing if I need it. You know? It's so important. That self-care and that self-love is like so important. And if you follow your intuition, they'll send you exactly who you need to go to if you need some energy healing, or what to do, or what YouTube meditation to, you know, sit through, guided meditation, or anything that can help you. You can release energy blocks in so many different ways. It's all about loving yourself. Unconditional love. If you unconditionally love yourself, you can unconditionally love another. So how you treat yourself is how you treat others. So at the end of the day, when I get triggered and I want to run or treat him like crap, you know, it's because I was treating myself like crap. And I had to own that. I had to own that I was the problem, you know. And that's not easy. So just be gentle on your divine masculines, because we're trying our best, you know. And I appreciate that so much about my boyfriend, my counterpart, because he is just so patient and so loving and so understanding, and like, we're so open and communicative now, and that is what makes us grow together and grow closer. Because as I'm starting to understand myself, he understands me better, because I explained to him like how I'm feeling and like what I'm discovering about this entire situation, and like, wow, like I've never been so close to anyone in my entire life, you know. So yeah, unconditionally love yourself, and it'll make it a lot easier to unconditionally love others. But I love you guys. I'll post this video tonight, and I hope you have an awesome weekend.